Yo, you don't see this too often, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh content. Not only that, it's TCG content. Isn't that nuts? For those that are curious, they want to watch the video, I understand. The deck list should be in the description. But I wanted to show you guys something that I quite enjoy. I mean, well, I've been playing Synchrons for, I don't know, more than half my life at this point, probably. And I just like the deck. However, I like playing with this card right here, Doppelwarrior. Oh, whoever designed Doppelwarrior is, I hope they're well, because I love this card so fucking much, right? And you don't really play Doppelwarrior in the Adventure Synchron list, but probably like, I mean, you could, but it's just not. It's not the best because there's no point almost because the stars don't align. You're not playing. The only three you're playing is like Revolution, I think, from what I know. Could be wrong. Feel free to correct me, but from what I know, you don't really play Doppelwarrior. So I'm like, yeah, Adventure Synchron is cool. AdSync is pretty nice. Like I can win a few games with this stuff. It's pretty cool. But there's something more important than that. It's my own personal enjoyment, and thus this is the list you see before you is coming from that. I will go through all these cards and I'll explain why I'm not playing certain things. All right, let's just start with it. Too much rambling. Too much rambling. Stardust stuff. Stardust Synchron. Two of them. Stardust Trail. Stardust Illumination. I think it's a very relatively normal package if you're playing this sort of stuff. Some you might see one, you might see three. I think two, one is just right in this list specifically. Because I've messed around with a lot of them, a lot of ratios and stuff. Two Junk Synchron, one Assault Synchron, one Jet Synchron, three Tuning, three On Your Mark, three Carrier, three Converter, three Doppelwarrior, Reinforcement Army, and now my favorite part of the deck. I'm playing 15 on Engine, and you might be thinking, what is wrong with you? Why is this the favorite part of your deck? Oh, let me explain. Besides the fact, I'm actually playing 16. I can't even count. Alright, Triple Tactics Talent. Just a good card. Card's nuts, going first and second. Called by the Grave. Good, just in general. If you're weak to hand traps, it's very good. Even if you're not, it's can be disruption. It does everything, right? But now, my favorite part of the deck, and the reason why one of the big reasons why I like this deck so much. I'm playing 12 hand traps in a deck that like doesn't even have a one card combo. Okay, and you might be thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, that's valid. I don't know, but hear me out. Chunk Converter, for those that know, you can discard itself and a tuner to add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. So this, with any tuner, it searches out either Synchron Carrier or a different tuner. Alright? Notice that my hand traps are all tuners. Yeah, you see where we're going? You see where we're going with this. See where we're going with this. So, they act as sometimes a searcher and their normal role as disruption. And then Imperm is just like, it's good going first, it's good going second. It is what it is. That's the only reason why it's, I mean, Imperm is crazy. I don't have to explain it, but like, sometimes you gotta break a board, you know what I'm saying? You can't go first every time. In fact, it's quite rare to go first every time. So, that's the list. It's just, behold, 12 hand traps in a deck that's not even that consistent, right? Now, here's maybe another question that might be in your mind right now. Why are you playing two Synchron, Stardust Synchron, two Junk Synchron, one Assault Synchron, one Jet Synchron? What are these ratios? I understand. However, you have three tuning, three on your mark, three Junk Converter, and Reinforcement Army that can search out the Junk Synchron. That's a lot of searching already. I don't need more tuners. I don't need more of them. Like, I have plenty. Most of the time, this is perfectly fine. Most hands can get to speeder. I'm not saying you'll win the game, because you kind of lose to like 1, 2 hand traps a lot of the time, actually. But, you know, it's there. That's the theory. That's the theory. Synchron Carrier, kind of nuts. Because no one ever imperms or veilers the carrier. No one ever. It's so dumb. Like, it's just actively bad, actually. So, more often than not, you can get the speeder with this plus Junk Synchron, this plus Stardust Synchron, and like some flex things. You can sometimes your hand's really weird. You go like your hand's like Doppelwarrior, Synchron Carrier, Jet Synchron, and you can still get the speeder. It just takes some more steps. But you know, that's the main deck. Any questions? Of course not. It's a video. All right, extra deck. Another big part of why I enjoy this deck so much, besides the cost, besides all the staples that you just buy, and like come on, 16 non-engine, and all of them are like pretty good. Like come on, if you don't like this deck, it's not that expensive, and you can just use the staples for another deck. It's crazy, and maybe you're like, I don't really like this deck that much, but I like the AdSync version. Like just you already have a few of the cards. Perfect. Anyway, actually, I did before we get into the extra deck. I wanted to mention Belle. This could be Ogre, as I said here. Oh, there's another thing I'm gonna mention. Oh well, Belle could be. I like Belle more because it dodges like Bestials and Called Bys and Crow and stuff. Has niche applications. Ogre does too. Like I don't know, some if you want to destroy a continuous spell or trap, you want to get rid of a monster on the opponent field. I'm sure you know the differences between Belle and Ogre. Just play one. You can also play Moonlit. Moonlit's expensive. I can't afford it, and I don't even think it's that good. I'd rather play Veiler personally. Maybe this is me coping because I don't have the money to afford it, unless I got reprinted recently, which I don't know. Shit. Uh, and I think another one. If you're familiar with the Synchron list, you might be thinking, "Yo, where's Caligo?" I think Caligo back in the day was like crazy, crazy, nuts. I think it's mandatory. However, the main line forces you to play Jet Synchron, right? And Stardust Synchron, which is like Stardust Synchron is really good for the deck. So your tuners are either light. You have a light and a fire, and 2 darks. So your Caligo is only good if you draw one of the dark ones, basically. Basically. And you can also play Cupid Angel to like search it and stuff, but it's I don't think it's that good in my testing. Because there's a lot of sometimes you just don't find these cards. Sometimes you have to speeder with like Stardust Synchron and Carrier by using the illumination effect. It just it's just not that good. Sometimes your hand is like I don't know. Like yeah, sometimes it's Stardust Synchron and Caligo with 3 hand traps. It doesn't do anything. It just doesn't do it. It doesn't get there. You can draw into something, but you use your normal summon, which is really big for this deck, so it doesn't do that much. Anyway, Foolish Burial, not playing it. You could if you wanted to. I don't know what I'd cut. Maybe a tuning. Maybe I don't know. Feel free to test it out. I ain't your guardian. I'm not your parent. Do what you will. I'm not you. Monster Reborn also playable. It's a little weird sometimes though. Sometimes I think it's like fine if you get ashed or like it's just a hand trap that is a tuner, because then you can Monster Reborn their monster, and then you can if you have a Doppel, you can specially summon it out. Extension something 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 that you can go into your plays, but I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's good enough for me. But if you like it, it is what it is. It's a toolbox deck. Do what you want with it. It's a cheap deck. Do what you want. Okay, now engines. I mentioned AdSync already. AdSync is good. AdSync is probably the way to play a Synchron, let's be honest. But it's expensive. And you may be thinking, the Adventure Engine is not that expensive. Oh, no, you are right. However, if you're playing Adventure Synchron, it requires you to basically play Excel Synchro Dragon, which is money, a good chunk of it. Not only that, if you're playing the AdSync version, you're probably also playing the Crimson Dragon line. You don't have to, but it's common. If you're not playing that, you might also be playing Despotter and or playing Despotter, which is also money. Not only that, you're probably playing Revolution Synchron, which is also money. So myself, as someone that is not willing to spend that much money on cardboard, on one piece of cardboard rather, I've spent a good amount. I I'd rather not. That's just me. I think the deck is really fun. I don't think it's just a different type of fun from what I want from this deck. But I ain't gonna fault you if you like the deck. Yeah, shit, you can shit on my deck for all you want. I don't care. It is what it is. Maybe with a few reprints, I'm down to play it. Uh, Liberals, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. That's it. It's fine. If you wanted to play it, it's not bad. If you want to play around shit like if D barrier's in the format, I think there's a more of a reason to play it because at least you can end on something. If they barrier you on draw phase or something, you can at least end with a negate or with the liberal engine. Punks probably decent too. I don't think it does enough by itself because we don't have Chaos Ruler anymore. So it is what it is there. And now this jointed ass video. Let's go to the extra deck. Why did I go into the extra deck after talking about extra deck options already? I don't know, dude. Anyway, Baron, Satellite, Shenshen, Crystal Wing, Draco Berserker, Omega, Stardust Dragon, base OG Stardust Dragon, Fire, pretty sick. FA Don Dragster, Charge Warrior, Librarian, Junk Speeder, Excel Synchron, Herald of the Arclight, Martial Metal Marcher, and Celestial Double Sword Shaman. Of these cards, these first, what is that? 7 are just about mandatory. I mean, unless you're like playing Synchrons without Speeder, then I don't know, good luck with that. I think, yeah, everything here is, I consider mandatory. I don't consider Dawn Dragster mandatory. I consider Stardust Dragon just about mandatory because the main combo, which I admittedly barely get into, because like the deck is so random, so much variance, and the combos are linear-ish, but not that linear. If you get what I mean, probably not, but whatever. It uses Stardust Dragon a lot for the token from Stardust Trail. You could probably cut it if you have Excel. Excel is probably better, but I mean, I don't have Excel. Obviously, this is a sim, but I don't know. Something about using the OG Stardust Dragon makes me feel good. You know. Alright. Again, Omega, I think is just really good. I don't see why you wouldn't play it. Plus, it's not expensive. Like Draco Berserker, it's good. I don't. If you were to replace this card, I wouldn't hate it. But the problem is, it's really good at breaking boards, and it's an 8, which is pretty easy to get into in this deck because of the recursion, which I will get to later. Crystal Wing, I see. I mean, it's cheap. Why not play it, right? Shenshen, yo, the main combo or the main end board that I try to end on is uh Shenshen, Arclight, Baron, and like draw 3. And sometimes you have sometimes a little bit more. So you end on macro because of Shenshen. Shenshen's so fucking cool. Shenshen's the only macro in the game that I'm like, damn, that's kind of sick actually. Because normal macro is like, yo, what the fuck? Di-Fi? Yo, like, yo, what the fuck? But Shenshen, for some reason, I don't know. It's just, I think the art probably has to do something with it. But it's so cool. It's so cool. And it has recursion, which is a big part of the deck. All right, Satellite Warrior is cuttable. If you wanted to play Tenyi instead, I wouldn't blame you. I just like. All right, then again, the normal board is Shenshen, Arclight, Baron, and librarian. Sometimes you can extend a little further and get an Excel Synchron on the field. One time, I did that board, right? Those 4 or 5 monsters. And then my opponent set 5. I blew up their whole field and they're all banished. I have never looked back. It's the best feeling on this planet, man. I enjoy it so much. Plus, it gets really big. Also, it kind of recurs. Like it brings back a warrior synchron and or Stardust, which admittedly almost never comes up because this thing's generally very large. And if they out it, like, I mean, shit. If you summon this thing, you haven't won the game. You're doing something wrong most of the time. Sometimes it does come up, but it's not really doing anything much. Like you might summon a Stardust, might summon. You're not running any warriors, and you might summon an Excel because that's usually the way you summon this thing. But I mean, it's nice, and Baron's Baron. But if you wanted to cut Baron for something else, then I mean, I wouldn't. But you could if you want to go even cheaper. There's probably some low tens out here. You know, whatever the fuck this thing is. I mean, this would probably take place of Satellite Warrior. That's pretty neat. Changing, as I said. There's some other options here, you know. Alright. But it's Baron. It's Baron! You gotta play it. You're playing a Synchro deck. You have tuners. You can make Baron. You put in Baron. It's that simple. Alright. Now, the game plan of this deck is obviously it's a belligerent combo deck. However, it does have grind game. With Omega, Shenshen, Satellite Warrior, Asterisk, as I said earlier, and Baron, you have a little bit of grind game. You can go like, oh shit, they outed your board. Bring back Shenshen. Then you bring back your Jet Synchron if you haven't used the effect. Go into Satellite Warrior, blow up their field. See? That's just off the dome. Off the dome. Again, you can like, oh, you use your stuff already. Damn. Use Omega effect. Bring everything back. Bring one thing back, rather. I mean, like, it's not that good, but you bring it back. So you can try to play through stuff. Try to grind a little bit more. Also, naturally a part of the grinding, these things banish themselves when they leave the field if they use your effects. This is okay. It's like a little sad. It's fair though. I mean, otherwise it's a lot better than it is. However, with Shenshen's effect, you can bring one back. With Omega's standby effect, you can bring the other one back. So you have like recurrable 8s, which is why I like playing the Draco Berserker. It helps a lot. It's also disruption. It's also another way to get past big monsters. If your opponent has like 2 monsters, right? When you can get over one of them and the other one you can't, you can kill the smaller one and then get over the bigger one with the Draco Berserker effect of the something kill monster thing. Yeah. The technical term for it. FA Dawn Dragster, I'm still a little conflicted. It's good. It's a spell and trap negate. However, I feel like I mean it's just it's cool, you know? It's fine. I don't hate it. But I feel like there's a better thing here. You can play this. You can play Coral Dragon over this because 6s are a lot better than 7s in this deck. I just wanted a 7 to flex. You can play Black Rose if you I don't know, like Black Rose. I like Black Rose a lot, but the thing is with Dawn Dragster, if you use his effect once, it turns into a 5, and then if you summon Excel Synchron, you can make Satellite Warrior or Baron, which is pretty neat. Or you can even flex from there if you want to use the Excel Synchron effect to dump one of these. Quite neat. Now, just to recap, the reason why I like this deck is it's cheap, relatively speaking. I just want to make that very clear. Some people cannot spend like 70 bucks on cardboard, and I am sympathetic to that. I understand. But in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh, 70 bucks for main deck and extra deck? Not bad. Not bad. In fact, quite good. 2, I like playing with Doppelwarrior. Just the tokens and even just like the 2.5, the variants of deck. Normally, you wouldn't like variance in competitive games, but we're playing a fucking card game, right? There will be variance. And the variance in this deck isn't like, oh, sometimes you literally can't play it. Well, which is, I mean, that is true, but that's true for literally every deck. Sometimes you open like 6 hand traps and you can't go into engine. They have like, I don't fucking know, like mid-breaker field or something. I don't know. Just an example. But like, it's just piecing together how to get the speeder and then piecing together a combo afterwards. It's really fun. I quite enjoy it. 3, the hand traps, bro. I think the being able to disrupt your opponent on their turn is invaluable to me a lot of the time, which is why I like blue and magic. I like hand traps, depending on the format and so on and so forth. But I like hand traps as just a blanket statement. It's cool. It's fun. Plus, it's a toolbox deck. You can swap things. That's 4. There's, what is there not to love? Besides the fact that AdSync is probably better. But, I mean, feel free to try it out. It's cheap. Admittedly, I actually don't have this entire deck built. I'm missing a carrier, and I'm missing a Dawn Dragster. I might just swap out for the Black Rose though. But I mean, again, try it out. Tell me what you think. Maybe it'll spark someone considerably better than me to make a deck that's interesting or better or something more desirable than this. But if I can do that, do my part as a Synchron main asterisk, then I feel like I'm doing my job. That being said, thanks for watching. Peace.